A multiplayer-only MOBA-style game appeals to me about as much as an AIDS diagnosis, but after my time with the beta, I've got to say, Battleborn was alright. Though it did rub me the wrong way straight away, because as soon as you start the beta up, you get an ad telling you to pre-order the game before you've even tried the twatting thing. Anyway, I saw a lot of articles before the beta where Gearbox Software was saying the game isn't a MOBA. Now bear in mind, this was the same company that was telling people Aliens Colonial Marines was going to be good. Battleborn is a MOBA. It has minions, lanes, and a big selection of characters to play as. The beta does show off the game's story mode missions, which are less like a MOBA and more like a dungeon in an MMO. And I was really surprised by the first one. You go through many cool looking environments and fight some pretty interesting bosses along the way. The mode is very ideal to practice with the game's selection of heroes in before you take them into the competitive multiplayer. It didn't feel like throwaway crap, which is kind of what you expect from multiplayer focused games with a story mode. The second mission, not so much. You escort a tank across a boring looking snow level, but still very good bosses. Playing this mode is well worth it. You level up, collect gear and skins, which is all carried over to the multiplayer and vice versa, and I hope it has decent legs in the full game. The competitive multiplayer is clearly going to be the focus of this game though, and as a man who doesn't play MOBAs, it was nice to see a multiplayer game with a totally different pace to it. Battleborn is not a game you should play like most online shooters. If you rush in, you'll be dead in seconds. You're not rewarded for playing aggressively. There's more to contribute than just kills. Structures can be built to keep your base's defences up, and holding the enemy team up is just as important as killing them. I might be totally wrong here, but I feel pressing your opponents to make mistakes, timing and communication seem to be the key to winning. But herein lies a problem, at least on consoles anyway. People don't communicate. The only human voice I heard was, "I shot him at least 7 times, this is fucking stupid." Then he went and did a rage quit, and a quitting teammate is a real handicap. If you're on the team with less players, you've pretty much lost, since no one can join games in progress. Also, I'm no expert on MOBAs, but I do know the #1 rule is stay behind your minions. They are key in both game modes in the beta. One mode has you destroying the opposite team's walker, the other has you escorting minions to a trash compactor to sacrifice them for points. But I got so annoyed with people running straight past the minions, then getting destroyed by the other team. And with respawn times being quite long, it can really knacker a team's strategy as well as leaving you open to an attack. Also, players constantly leave lanes open for the other team to steamroll down. You may think, well, maybe the game doesn't communicate well what you're meant to do. Well, the thing is, it does. There's a tutorial at the start of each game telling you the objective and how to properly achieve it, but people keep jumping and doing taunts over it all. I know it seems stupid to criticise the game because of the people who play it, and this is in beta, people are still learning, but it does get frustrating being put on Team Retard and getting steamrolled because 12-year-old Timmy keeps playing this like Call of Duty. I suppose I now understand those people who get really angry at their team on League of Legends. This problem also kind of extends to the hero selection as well. See, each hero has their own role to play in the game. There's 25 in total, all with their own weapons, abilities and play styles. It seems that the game wants you to get good with a few, if not all of them, so you can fill a hole in your team. But a lot of players at the minute just play the one character and refuse to change, so you end up joining teams with 3 snipers, leaving you to get owned by a team who has a varied cast of heroes to tackle any situation. When you do get into a game where both teams know what they are doing, it's great, it really comes alive. Both teams get each lane of the map covered, causing them to get into tense stalemates trying to tempt each other out. If you do play this, get some friends or make friends with others who know what they are doing, team up with them and get a headset on. I do have problems with the game that extend beyond the people who play it. I personally think ranged characters hold an advantage over melee focused combatants. A ranged character can safely stay behind the minions whilst chipping away at the opposing heroes, whilst melee characters have to destroy the opposing team's minions before they can get close, and by that time the opposition has retreated, Saying that though, I've seen people playing as Wrath, one of the close quarters characters in this beta, who are insane with him, so maybe it's more of a playstyle thing for me. I also found the first person camera to be terrible when two melee characters have a duel, even worse if you're a ranged character being wailed on by a close quarters attacker. It just turns into an incomprehensible clusterfuck. Honestly, I think the game would have been much better in third person. You would actually be able to see what's going on when you're up close. Despite all that though, I can see people really getting into this game. The strategies you could come up with thanks to the different team combinations is pretty staggering. On the PC side, I can see people being more serious and making a better environment to play this in. But on consoles, and this is coming from someone who largely plays on them, I can just see people refusing to learn it and getting frustrated. I don't want to sound like an elitist dick, hopefully I am wrong, but the way people have been playing in this beta doesn't give me much hope. But I would say keep an eye on it. It's not dumbed down, which is probably why so many people aren't grasping it. It blends some pretty interesting ideas, and if the content is there, I can see it being worth the asking price. Obviously it's hard to tell at the moment with it being in beta. The art style is really striking as well. There's actual colour in the game. Remember when games had that? There's no microtransactions, though who knows, they may be added in the future. The humour is in there as well. If you didn't like Borderlands' smug twat humour, you probably won't like this. It would be a shame to see a game with these ideas get buried, but I would still wait for the full release before you decide your purchase.